Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to day two of the fourth Onyx Path virtual convention. This panel is What's Up with the Onyx Path, continuing the legendary tradition of the What's Up panels and that we've done, at least Eddie and I have done for over a decade. More
I was
than
just doing
that,
the math.
15 years.
I think it might be close to 20 now.
It might be. What's up with? What's up?
Because we did do the What's Up with White Wolf panels. We started those in 2007, 2008. So yeah, it's close to 15 then. Now that I do the math again.
Wow.
But
Yep. But I'm Rich Thomas, founder and creative director of Onyx Path Publishing, and these incredibly beautiful people around me are. Jump in there.
Matthew, you have to go because you're making that face.
I am the strategic creativist at Onyx Path. My name is Matthew Dawkins, and I oversee several game lines, as well as occasionally developing and writing books myself. My actual title is creative strategist, but I am obviously a barrel of laughs, probably most well known for the They Came From game line.
It's so obviously a barrel of laughs.
I have comedy hats, every convention. I know how to make the audience laugh. That's why I'm so well heralded in this industry.
Everybody loves a clown, Matthew.
Yeah. I tell them as well. I'm funny.
Laugh or you lose experience.
No. These are funny games.
You sons of bitches.
I am Eddy Webb. I am not the in-house developer, as I erroneously introduced myself last time. I'm simply one of the in-house developers. I am the executive producer at Onyx Path, and I also handle the Trinity Continuum games, Pugmire games, helping out with the branch writer stuff, and a bunch of other stuff I can't talk about yet. But I also here to laugh at Matthew's jokes. That is mainly what I'm paid for.
Yeah, that works. I'm Dixie Cochran. I'm one of the developers at Onyx Path. I wear many hats right now. I do some editing. I do some writing. I'm doing some layout, which is super fun. I actually really love working with Mike Cheney. I got a little choked up. He made me my own folder called Dixie's Big Art and Layout folder. And for those who know, Mike has a folder called Mike's Big Art and Layout folder. I'm like, oh, I've got like a little baby version now. It's mine.
Now you can shove everything in it like we do.
Yeah, no, it's
for
great.
Mike.
But yeah, I do all kinds of stuff here, and it's fun. Fun place to be.
All right.
That's us done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's now you know who we are. We make a whole bunch of games, and that's what's up. Yeah, that's cool.
That's what's up. We make games.
Boom, boom.
Questions.
But now you've all been on some panels already, because today there was already panels and actual plays going on and people playing games, and of course yesterday when we started the con, I think there were like three panels after we did the opening ceremony. So anything anybody wants to bring up that they saw or enjoyed during that process?
I've been.
Go ahead, Eddie. Age before beauty.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. I've been on a Pugmire streak, actually. I did an actual play earlier today with our kind of European player base. And that was a load of fun. I ran them through my kind of creepy haunted house scenario. And I realized that I have so internalized the 4-hour convention pattern that I didn't realize I only had 3 hours. And so I was like, oh, gotta cram a whole third act into 30 minutes.
And the monster explodes.
There's a lot of that, really. We're going to narrate the rest of this fight, which I don't like to do, but sometimes you have to. And then we had a great panel, which Dixie was on, as well as some other folks like Lauren and Ryan and Travis. And we talked about the past, present, and future of Pugmire. So that was really
Realms
fun.
of Pugmire.
Realms of Pugmire.
I've been on a They Came From panel just recently, in fact, with my good colleagues Travis Legg, Kim Godwin, and Michele Masala, where we spoke a lot about the RPG anthology, including the chapters that have been voted for inclusion.
Is that something that we're doing something with right now? This They Came From the RPG anthology?
Well, it's funny. It's funny you should ask that, Rich. It's hilarious, even, because They Came From the RPG anthology is currently on Kickstarter, viewers, listeners, and we have hit our first stretch goal. We would love to hit more. If you haven't backed this book already, it does already contain 5 chapters. We have already voted for 3 additional chapters. There will be a 4th one The voting will start on Monday. And if we hit enough stretch goals, there could be a 5th extra one. We don't know, but we do need your backing. So you need to put the money down. And remember, if you only back for $5, you still get access to the full manuscript. That includes the genres we've already released so far, but also the entire Story Path Ultra rule set and the quick play system for They Came From. So
What
that
Matthew's
Kickstarter's
saying is
running.
there's actually 2 rule sets
That
in
is
this
true.
book.
Yeah.
Two
One
rule
is
sets.
like a 2-pager, very, very quick. If you know They Came From to begin with, it's a condensed version of all that.
Yeah.
And then there's the Story Path Ultra ones rule set, which is one of the first games that we're putting the Ultra rules right in so you can see it. And then every chapter that we're talking about is a setting. So it's basically 7 games right now.
Yeah.
8
Yeah.
games, maybe 9 or 10 games
Yeah.
in that one book, and that's all you need to play it.
Yeah, it's a really fun new way of presenting They Came From. Obviously, we've done They Came From in the big, hefty core books, such as the ones to my right. We've done them in smaller source book varieties, such as Camp Murder Lake, what we will be doing with Danger Zone, and with Witchfoot Academy as well. And now with this book, we are, I guess, introducing them a bit like slices, I suppose. They all have new archetypes, they all have new tropes, new cinematics, new quips. They're all crossover compatible, but they all give you everything you need to run games set within those media genres. And you can make them as comedic or as serious as you damn well like. All the tools are there. So we're very pleased that the campaign is funded, but please, if you haven't already, give it your backing and share it with your friends, your gaming groups, even with your relatives who wouldn't normally game, because you never know what they may decide to put money down on. And I'm going to add to that, this isn't the only thing you should be putting money toward, because we love you paying money to us to make games, but we also love you giving money to the Bodhana Group. I'm mentioning this early because I know sometimes if you provide things like links and promotions and things at the end of these panels, people switch off, and the Bodhana Group is important enough to say early. They're a wonderful charity that uses gaming as a therapeutic tool for all kinds of people, and they do it so damn well. And they've already been raising money during this convention. The link will be posted in the chat of this Twitch. Whether you can only donate $5, $10, whatever you can donate is
2 million.
gratefully. Yeah, $2 million is gratefully
If
received.
that's all you got.
We will be keeping a track of those figures as the convention goes on. But anything you can give to the Bodhana Group is, well, it's wonderful. So put money down on a game or put money to charity. Either way, we're happy.
And if you're interested in the game that we're working on, we're going to publish the game that they've designed and worked on called Branch Riders. If you're interested in a little bit more about that, we're going to be doing a panel at 5:30, Dixie?
Yes, 5:30.
5:30 Eastern U.S. time, with a couple of the gang from the Bodhana Group, and we're going to be talking about Branch Riders, and trying not to diverge too far from talking about Branch Riders, since that's the point of the panel. But inevitably, like, for instance, Jack couldn't remember the theme song to Gunsmoke.
What?
Just last month when he and I talked. It's not really evocative. It's orchestral.
I mean,
And,
I don't remember it, but Jack should.
Yeah, well, he didn't. And now I know it because I made sure to memorize it, and now I'm going to sing it to him when we start the panel.
I've got the theme tune to Bonanza in my head now, and unfortunately, it's drowning out anything.
Right, because that's us poppy.
Yeah.
I had a cousin who was on Bonanza, but I always forget
Really?
who it was. Yeah, I'd have to look him up. He's like a, third cousin twice removed or something. Was one of the actors on Bonanza. I never met
someone
him.
you want to get to know a little better, because he was
Gordon
in
Green is
Bonanza.
a cousin.
What a name.
Now, I do want to say before we get too off course, we're completely off course already. But if you have any questions for us, please put them in the chat. I'm monitoring it. If you can, preface your question with the word question in all caps, or do a message highlight. We'll get to them throughout the panel, but definitely by the end. Because that's what this panel is kind of for. It's what's up with us, and I'll say we want to answer your questions.
Right. With the understanding that some questions we may not be able to answer.
I mean, yeah.
Or
or just don't want to.
just refuse to answer, just
Right.
angrily. How would you know? But yeah, but
Dare you.
sometimes we just can't answer. Okay. So, any other things about the panels you've already been on? Have you done any World Below panels yet, Matthew?
Not yet. They're coming up tomorrow.
Ooh.
There's a World Below
Ooh.
panel and our very first World Below actual play.
Nice.
And on our World Below panel, we will be graced with a bit of luck and a good wind with Ed Greenwood, who a
The
lot of
legendary
people,
Ed Greenwood.
the legendary, sorry, that is his correct prefix.
Right.
Ed
TL
Greenwood is
EG.
probably Esquire is probably known best for his work on the Forgotten Realms. He has actually contributed to several game worlds and fictional worlds,
Mhm.
and it was an absolute joy to work with him on the World Below on the RPG. He created an awful lot of what went into the setting. Some of it was expanding on details or points I provided, and then you could kind of see his mind at work just from a
Explosion of
kernel.
ideas.
Exactly, from a kernel of an idea, it would suddenly become a full-fledged settlement with story hooks, interesting characters, creatures, and so on. And Ed also worked very closely with Michele Marsala. Michele came up with an awful lot of the creatures, the monsters in the World Below, and they are one of the most colourful parts of the game. I mean, I love it all, but the bestiary is quite close to my heart. And Ed went on to design a lot of these sort of ecologies for those creatures. So he was a wonderful team player, and I'm hoping he will be available tomorrow. I believe he will. To speak on the panel about some of his setting material, some of his inspirations, and such. But we will also have other people on this panel too. And as I say, we will have the actual play following, which shall I mention what's coming up for the World Below outside of panels as we're on the
Well,
topic?
yeah, I think that's a great idea because I know you've been doing the weekly blog postings of giving out details and having people vote on what they want to hear next, which I think has been fantastic. We put that on hiatus for a little while because of all the stuff that was happening with both the Kickstarter and with this convention.
Mm-hmm.
But I know you're going to get back to that,
Yep.
so people can get more information that way. But we actually are going to be providing a way for folks to get really in-depth information. In fact, the ability to play in the world below way early before we do a crowdfunding or we do, even, have everything prepared. And Matthew, do you want to?
Yeah, the plan is very soon. We're hoping next week. I'm not going to confirm that to a certainty because you never know what might happen. But the plan is for next week that we will release an Ashcan version of The World Below. So anyone who's unfamiliar, an Ashcan is an ultra condensed version of an RPG that gives you essentially the highlights, a sneak peek view into what this game contains, and in most cases allows you to play through a basic version of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're doing with the World Below Ashcan is we're providing you with some of the playable options, we're providing you with the rules, we're providing you with some of the powers, some of the antagonists, some of the setting, and a scenario at the end. And it's all very streamlined, it's easy to access. But it won't be, I guess, introducing rules that won't be in the full version. This is a proper preview document. Now, we will be very interested in getting everyone's feedback because this product, if you buy it, if you play through it, if you read it and you enjoy it, or even if you don't, we want your feedback because this may well go on to inform how the greater world below comes into being, the things that we might add to it, even take away from it. I'm not saying we will be purely governed by committee, but we are very interested in what the fans have to say because it's a brand new game world, and sometimes you just don't know how things are going to land until they're exposed to an audience.
Right.
So the Ashcan will be available very soon, and the actual play we are running tomorrow will be using the scenario from the Ashcan. So it's one of those things where when you have the product, you could, in theory, follow along and teach yourself how this game works by essentially seeing people put it into practice yourself. It's I'm hoping it will go very well. I'm confident it will.
Right.
And I think, yeah.
And I think there's a good point to remind people that while there's people watching this obviously right now, immediately live, on Twitch, that we will be putting these things up on our YouTube channel, so that people can watch through at those times as well. And so you may have a copy of the Ash Can, and then you'll be able to do what you're talking about, of being able to follow along with the Ash Can while people are actually playing it right there in front of you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which I think could be quite fun.
Yeah, definitely. It's something I'm very excited about because we've not done this before. We obviously do jump starts,
Mhm.
which fulfill something of a similar function. But this Ash Can, which it will be high in content, low in art, I think is fair to say. It is going to be an offering just to get you into the game, first and
Just
foremost.
have
And
fun
yeah,
with it. Yeah.
exactly, and hopefully generate some feedback from you. So if you pick up a copy, let us know what you think. That is incredibly valuable to us.
Yeah. And I think one of the things, well, I mean, so do any of you have the little graphic for that?
I do
Travis,
not have
provide that to anybody?
No.
Okay. Wait for
Not,
one
not
of the
that I
world.
could do anything with it from here.
Wait for one of the World Below panels then, or that we're going to do one tomorrow, hopefully with Ed Greenwood, and we should be able to show you the cover of the Ash Can.
Oh, cool.
Yes, I believe I do have that. I just cannot, from my current position as a guest, put it anywhere. But I'll make sure that it is. It will be around for the World Below panel.
We don't want to talk about it much, but there was an incident with Matthew before. And now he no longer has the capacity to share things on these calls because
Access.
it's safer that way.
Yeah,
He had
it's,
too much
You
access.
pull up on your
Yes.
phone and then just hold your phone up to the screen.
That's the
and
best way to preview something.
Yeah.
So
look
this
at
is
my
Make it
the
as
only
shaky as
look
possible.
you'll get of it.
Better than nothing.
Get the light blaring
Um,
on it.
Another thing you may find when you do check out the Ash Can, and it will not be long. That before we will be offering that to folks so you can get one of your own. One thing you're going to see in the Ash Can is probably just a sentence that states that the world below is part of the Earthbane cycle.
Yep.
And this is a brand new announcement for those of you who love the brand new announcements. World below is just the first of the fantasy settings that we're going to be producing and publishing for what we're calling the Earthbane cycle.
Mhm.
And the second one's going to be called At the Gates.
Mhm.
So if they're very different.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't let what World Below is set you up for what you think At the Gates might be, because we're not going to tell you any more information about it except the title. But it's going to be very different. So, and honestly, we have plans for several. I want to say many, but definitely several more games in the Earthbane cycle. So we're very excited about it. We're spending just a great time world building and developing these things, and we hope everybody will enjoy them as well. And of course, they're fantasy games using the StoryPath Ultra system.
Yep.
So that's one announcement.
Speaking of StoryPath Ultra,
Yes.
For those of you who missed it at opening ceremonies and who have been interested to learn more about StoryPath Ultra, there are a couple of ways. Matthew mentioned one, which of course is backing. They came from the RPG Anthology, which is on Kickstarter now. Please back it as soon as possible. Thank you very much for your money. But separately, there is
support
also
for your support.
for your support. Was that the right word? Money.
Money is a thing that people use to demonstrate some support, but there's a lot of other ways to show support, including telling everyone you know in the entire world.
Yeah, no, in all seriousness, yes. I mean, please support the Kickstarter. Let people know that's fantastic because it's a great neat little project we're working on, and we're excited about it. But also, during opening ceremonies, we released on Drive-Thru RPG a preview brochure of StoryPath Ultra. So that is a look into what StoryPath Ultra is going to be and what it is. And if you remember, we did a StoryPath preview brochure many years ago, and this is somewhat in the same vein. So it's a very short 16-page brochure.
Very similar.
It covers the very basic systems, talks a little bit about some of the other systems that attach onto that, And then we do give you ways that you can convert existing story path games to Ultra if you desire to do so. And in fact, we have some actual players that are doing exactly that this weekend. And that shows you kind of where we're going with it and what it's going to look like in future products. And already someone said, yes, it's a very nice brochure, very stylish and informative. So thank you. I'm glad that you
Thanks.
liked it.
That was the idea.
That was exactly what we were going for. Stylish and informative was exactly what we were going for.
Yeah, I think we already had the Trinity game that used it, and then they're gonna do Scion Origin tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern.
You're right. The Trinity one was yesterday night. So
Yesterday night.
yesterday night.
Yesternight.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Oh, that's a good name for a character.
That's a great
And
word. Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to mention, and I suppose this would be announcement number 3, 2, I don't know, I've already lost count, is that we are also going to do the StoryPath Ultra Core Manual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll talk about this more in the StoryPath Q&A, which is going to be in like an hour. But basically, this is going to be a we're going to spell out the StoryPath Ultra system and give you concrete advice on how to emulate other genres with the system. So this is going to be something akin to what other companies have wanted to provide, just a system with a lot of flavorful advice around it. How that flavorful advice is going to look, we're still discussing. But it's a new approach for us where we actually don't bundle the system just within a game, but also separately provide that the meats and guts of that system available for people to kind of play with and modify at their own tables.
Yeah, and at 5 p.m. Eastern, Danielle Lazan is going to be running a game using Ultra. So if you want to see Ultra run by somebody who did a lot of the core mechanical work on it, that would be a good place to go.
Yep.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. I mean, we all worked on it to some extent.
Oh, yeah.
But Danielle really led the charge. So this is, she knows it inside and out.
Indeed, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's cool. I'm not on that the Story Path panel, am I, Eddie?
I don't believe that. I think it's just me, Matthew, and Danielle.
Okay.
Because it's right after this one. So
Yeah.
like immediately afterwards, like immediately Matthew and I just disappear from this and reappear somewhere else.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's just you three. I get a break. I get to go eat something after this.
What?
Rightfully so.
How dare you?
Okay. Well, another thing that we actually premiered yesterday at the opening ceremonies was the trailer teaser for the Scion TV show. And now this is starting to get out around the place. And Jenkins and Tate, who are the company that is working on trying to get a Scion TV show going in the crazy pitch zone of Hollywood and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
They've prepared this just absolutely beautiful trailer, and it's it's a teaser, so it's not like you're not going to see. We don't have anybody cast for this show or anything like that. This is just to let you feel the direction. And Dixie, do you have that?
Sure do. I'm going to roll it.
Roll a DC. Oh wow, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I was
No, I mean,
transported to
I
space.
think it's absolutely gorgeous. It expresses the tone that we're going for. The idea that this is not just a, the range of Scion from the personal all the way through to the epic. I think is brought out by that. So, yeah, and thanks again to Jason Tate. I did the credits that Brian Jenkins had provided in his posting of this yesterday, and now I've forgotten where I had that. So,
Somewhere.
but the people involved, I mean, they just continue work. I saw so many versions of this because we are working pretty closely, not like, breathing down Jefferson Tate's neck, because they are the professionals. They know what they're doing. Um, but they're also very responsive and very interested in what we think. Are they hitting the right tone? Is it the right notes? They're fans, but they want us to be really proud of this as well. And so far, it's working out really well.
Yeah, I mean, like any adaptation, I'm sure some things will change, some things will not. We'll see
Yeah.
where it goes. But that's kind of the fun of an adaptation. Like I've been watching quite a few TV shows and movies and things recently that are adapted from books I like
Yep.
and comics, and it's always so cool to see what they choose to leave in, what they choose to change. Why, like, there's so much stuff that gets changed just for TV, you know,
Right.
because you can't, like, you want to show don't tell, where in books you pretty much just have to tell you most things. Because
Right.
they're words.
Yeah, they have to adapt it to the media that they're working in, and like I said, these are professionals who've done
Hmm.
had large and important parts of films and TV shows
Yeah.
that they were responsible for, and now they've all come together to create this company that hopefully, at some point, once all this stuff pulls together and everything, they will get a commitment from somebody to
Hmm.
do it.
Yeah, totally.
We don't know what yet. What else? Just a brief mention that we during the course of this convention, we have sales running
Yes.
in the various methods and venues that we have. So there's a Roll20 sale if you're
Yes.
playing on VTT
Hmm.
and Roll20. There is a physical projects sale going on at IPR, who in Indie Press Revolution, who do a lot of our physical books, especially the ones like deluxe books that
Hmm.
come after we ship out to all the backers. We don't put those in stores. Indie gets those out to people if they're interested, um, and um, and a sale on the ever popular drive-through RPG, industry giant Megalith, really, who is we have a wide range of our projects on sale there, PDF, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, there are a lot of bundles on sale through there too right now.
Lots of bundles. So, it's a funny word. Matthew should say it so it's a joke. Say bundles.
We have bundles of sale. No, that sounds a bit too lascivious.
Yeah.
Need more Roger Moore. We have bundles of sales waiting for you over at Indie Press Revolution. Or you could have a Jason Statham, because you mentioned megalodons. Well, you didn't, but Jason
I got
Statham's
close
very-
to that word.
He's
Yes.
very
What?
familiar with megalodons. And I believe in the
How did you get
movie,
Jason Statham to Megalodon?
the
Meg.
classic.
Yeah, he's in the Meg, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a fucking megalodon, isn't it? I think is how.
I
Right.
see. In his super accurate
It
East London
swallowed
accent.
bullet tooth
Yeah.
Tony. Or whatever.
Ah,
I'm just picturing like a mashup of Peaky Blinders and Jaws. Like,
All directed by Guy Ritchie.
yeah,
Yeah.
Birmingham, where it's set famously having a wide, lengthy coastline.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Which we saw beautifully at the UK Games Expo.
Yes, the sharks could make their way up the canals and
Let's just
yeah,
check
be
here.
clubbed to death by the Peaky Bloody Blinders. There you go. That's the accent. That's that fucking Peaky Blind. Sorry, language. I really appreciate. I appreciate that's a Saturday
Any children
morning in
watching,
America.
blame this guy.
Yeah. Apparently,
It's
British
That's
gets
the
away
watershed
with
here.
it.
It's fine.
Yes, we say it affectionately. Is what I'm told.
Is that what it is?
Fukin?
I don't say fuking. I'm not from that part of the country. I'll have you know.
the next 30 minutes are going to be dedicated to Matthew's accent work.
Yeah, everybody go get a sandwich. It's cool.
Accent covered.
No, it's typical over here that an American typically will come over here, will be called a word beginning with C, will feel
Yes.
offended.
Communist?
Yes, well, they may well feel offended, but they will feel offended by that. And then some friendly British person, oh, don't worry, mate. He's only calling you that because he likes you, and
Just taking the piss.
yeah, taking the piss. That's it.
So I guess just to catch up to yesterday in our Exalted panel, we mentioned that we are gearing up sometime this year for an Abyssal's crowdfunding campaign. Might be Kickstarter, might not. We don't know yet.
We don't know.
And then the what we call the fat splats that come out for Exalted. The next one will be Alchemicals.
Yay!
Mhm.
So
Metal people.
yeah, we
Robots in disguise.
you had too much fun playing that character.
I had so much fun playing that
wah,
character.
wah, 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 wah.
The minute you knew that there was essentially a robot character, you were like, "Yep, that one."
It was funny because like Monica was like, we have this, but Eddie, you probably want to play this. Like, why was it? They're robots. Like, cool, done. I'm in.
Also, I have noticed something, so I'm interested to see if this keeps playing out over Exalted games. I have played in 3 Exalted games now, all Essence with an alchemical, right? And every single one has played a Soul Steel. Every single one has played the one
Really?
where you're wearing like the worst metal. You're made of the metal that's made of people's souls, and it's kind
Yes.
of the evil metal. And yet, every time people are like Soul Steel, and I'm like, where's the Moon Silver love? Where's the Adamant love? Like, where are my other alchemical types?
Where's the
But
adamant
Dixie,
love? Man,
you're-
that's
you're-
like a country song or something.
Where's the adamant love? Digression, but it reminds me, actually on topic for robots, is that with self-driving cars, some point in time there'll be a country song about a guy who's crying over his truck leaving him.
It's all gonna come
Um,
together. And the truck took his best dog that he loves.
Right, exactly. Who's also a robot somehow.
All
But
the
no, I mean, like,
dogs.
why would you not play a character who's made of other people? That's just amazing.
If you're gonna do that, play a liminal like I am. Yeah.
But that's not a robot, Dixie.
But I made of other
Wah,
people.
wah, 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 wah.
A robot also made of other people.
But yeah,
I
no,
don't understand what the problem is
I
here.
think that was Al Gore.
No. Oh.
it is just funny.
Exalted the Algoricals.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But yes, Alchemicals is coming. Hooray!
I'm super excited for Alchemicals.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that we recap that because it was announced earlier than this. Whereas
Yeah.
a lot of times we lead with some reveals and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a lot of good stuff. Is there other things that we want to talk about here that are coming up?
Gosh, I don't know.
I mean, it's not really announcements,
eight is
more as
coming.
a refinement. But during the Pugmire panel, I did mention that that we're definitely on work for the Tome of Tome of Enemies, which is going to be a new title. I just haven't decided which one I want to use yet. But
Called
also
Monstrous
that
Enemies.
a
blood.
manual of monsters was somehow taken, sadly, as well as a collection of creatures. But I've also worked. I've talked to a developer, so we're going to start looking at outlining for the next book, which is going to be a book about cats. So the cat book is going to be moving ahead, and we've done some
Yeah.
restructuring and rework, some rethought on that. I don't want to say too much because we're still outlining, so that may change again. But that's now going to be moving ahead in the near future. So
From the monarchies of Mao.
yes, for the although again, that title's going to change.
Right.
Because we don't want it to make it clear this is doing its own thing. It's going to recap and update all the material from Onyx now, but it's going to be so much more that rather than just, it's second edition of that book, we're probably going to have a different title. We're still, again, working on that.
Maybe just Maoists.
Maoists, yes. Chairman Mao. Yeah.
No.
Just the leader.
I do know someone who named their cat Chairman Meow.
I've heard that more than once. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. There's only so many cat names in the world, and you're gonna go recycling them.
Yeah,
Right.
you
Oh,
run
nice.
through the puns.
Simulacra TV is rating. Hooray, hello.
Hello.
So what?
One of the other channels that are running games for us, they just sent their viewers over to us to call the raid.
Oh yeah,
So now we have some more viewers coming to watch us.
that's awfully nice.
Super.
Just
want
when we
me to
got
start-
to-
Do you want to go through some questions, maybe, or
Yeah, let's do Q&A. Let's do
Right,
Q&A.
well,
for
as
a
we
while.
think of things that are coming up, let's throw them out.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Well, if people want to put more questions in the chat, feel free, because we haven't gotten too many yet that we're going to answer here. Somebody asked about the timeline for Story Path Ultra character sheet, and it's like that'll come out at some point, but we
Yeah.
don't give dates on things. So
Right.
any questions that are about a date on things, we don't have dates on things.
Right.
We did get a question if we're going to do ash cans of future games.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean,
Yeah, let's see how this one goes.
yeah, like, I mean, that is one of those things that we do look at when we do
Yeah.
something that we haven't done before is it getting a good response? So
Mhm.
if a bunch of people pick this one up and talk to us about it and they're all over our social media with it,
Mhm.
um, we would take that as a positive sign.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. If you so the World Below is an excellent one to start with. Obviously, not only because it's the first, but this is our litmus test. Get yourself a copy when it comes out. Read through it. Even if fantasy isn't your typical genre, have a read through it and give us your feedback. It is absolutely the best way for us to know that these ash cans are being used. Right now, we are very much stepping into the unknown because we haven't done one of these before. So the only way we can gauge it is based on you, the viewers, the listeners, the readers, the role players, actually telling us. So let us know, and that makes things more likely. It's arguably the same for an awful lot of the game lines we make. If you want
Yep.
more of them, it doesn't just have to be you buying them, playing them. You need to be telling your friends.
Yeah.
This industry is largely powered by people sharing the things they like, reviewing the things they like. And so the thing I always say on the
Mhm.
Onyx Path news is head on over to Drive Through RPG, click on my library, not my library, your library, and it will
Click on
tell
your
you
library.
right there and then all of the products that you haven't left a rating on or you
Mhm.
haven't left a review on. You don't have to leave a review on everything, but it takes you no time at all to give each one a rating.
Yeah,
And
just
that
it's just
that
a number
helps.
of stars.
Yep, it helps a huge amount. It really does.
And of course, the easiest number of stars to click on is the highest one. So.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, obviously,
Lesser
anything less than
stars
Well,
are
I mean,
available.
especially if like you're like, wow, I didn't really use this very much, but I would want something like this.
Mhm.
That one that you're like maybe going, it was okay. If you gave it a higher rating, we would be forced to consider working on the thing that you would like us to work on.
Mhm.
well, yeah, our hands would be tied. But
Yeah,
it's
we do.
something
Just look at those
something
ratings on that thing. We got to do another one.
It's something Rich mentioned a few months back on the blog, testing your knowledge now, Rich. But Rich spoke about how we are aware that a lot of our customers buy our books to read. But
Right.
rather than going out, sitting at a table, running a game for five of their friends, or playing in these games, some people, some of you, no doubt, buy these books and read them and enjoy them, and that's a perfectly valid
Part of the hobby.
customer
Yeah.
company relationship. The thing is, I'm aware that a lot of people who read these books don't review them specifically because they feel like, well, I haven't role played, so I don't feel like I have a qualification to review. But that's not the case. People are interacting with these games in lots of different ways, and your way is no less valid
Yeah,
Mhm.
than
absolutely.
role players. So if you have thoughts on a game, even just as a reader, then let us know as a review, as a rating. It really does help.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Definitely. We were asked what are the overall high themes of the Earthbane cycle. If we have anything we could throw out there, but that is up to y'all.
Involves the Earth and Banes.
And there's a cycle
But
of
not
some sort.
necessarily the Earth. An
Right.
Earth?
And Earth. Like dirt.
Yeah.
I think without spoiling anything, every single one of the games in the Earthbane cycle will have a very different agenda. Um, Based on the fact that it is the Earthbane cycle, you can assume there will be some level of connection. I apologize for being vague, but we're very early days. But they will all feel different, but be unified by the use of the Story Path Ultra system.
Would you say that they're on perhaps a continuum of
No,
games?
No.
no, I would. In fact, I would deliberately, pointedly avoid use of that term, Eddie.
Okay. Okay.
It's
I
almost like
mean,
we've already used that one for
and
something.
we very specifically used it for a very specific way of designing the series for Trinity Continuum.
Right. Right.
You know, this it's not a continuum. There's, as Matthew said, there are you will begin to realize how things are connected. There are
Mhm.
connections. We don't want to go into them now because, of course, um, why ruin the fun for people you need a couple of these things out before you really start to see it. So
No, totally.
um,
And also, I mean, to your point, like cycle is a very specific word. It has epic connections, and
mhm.
a cycle works very differently than a continuum, even in a modern sense. So yeah, there's different kinds of connections. That's why I kind of brought it up as a joke, because it's like it's not
Yeah.
going to be the same thing. We don't know exactly what it's going to look like yet completely, but it's going to be a different take on that same very rough approach.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. I appreciate you throwing yourself in front of the sacrificial bus, so that we could have that.
I could hear the Twitter threads in my head as I was saying. I'm like, let's just kind of jump in front of that grenade now.
What a culture that would be, though. It's kind of the Stand, like maybe where you are, where someone is chosen from the community to be sacrificed to the bus. That's part Stand, part duel.
Well,
It's
we know that it always comes through on the third Monday
yeah, it
of
has a
every
Green
month.
Goblin mask on the front of it as well.
I mean, you're
Uh,
joking, but also I'm now thinking of a Pugmire ritual involving buses.
there you go. See, this is what it is to be a creative.
Matthew gave that to you for free.
You
Yeah.
are outcast. You must climb under the bus and then throw yourself away from the community.
And then
It's
being
not
dogs,
free.
they'd all go, "We could take that bus. Come on."
I can take it. I can take it. I can chase it.
It's not free at all. I took Eddie to a 18th century battleship on
It's true.
Saturday just gone, and he got well actuallyed. Well, I got well actuallyed, but
We
Eddie
both
had to
did.
hear it, by someone else who was touring the battleship.
Wow.
I think you'll find.
He almost used those exact words
Yeah,
too.
yes, we learned an awful lot about Horatio Nelson.
He was very helpful. I mean, to be serious,
Yes,
but
he
it was
was.
really funny because like, I think you'll find.
Yeah.
Kiss me hardy.
Yes, exactly. He wasn't like Hornblower at all, was the point.
Yes. Anyway, questions, right?
Captain Kirk is like Hornblower.
Past
Yes.
that, a lot of folks have mostly asked about when or if we're doing certain Kickstarters, and you know when we announce them. It's always been
Right.
the case. We're not changing that.
Right.
So things
mean-
will go on crowdfunding when they go on crowdfunding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can't say for sure exactly when this will be. When we can, we will let you know. But we're definitely doing a Treaty Continuum Aegis as the next crowdfunding
there you go.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that will be coming up at some point in the relatively immediate future, but not like as soon as the current one is done. We're not going to jump right into
Next
it.
Tuesday. Yeah. Done.
No.
Poor James, our Kickstarter concierge. We really do try to put some gaps in between our various crowdfunding things, so he can, come down from whatever persona he has assumed for that particular Kickstarter. If you've ever been on one of our Kickstarters and have had the really wonderful chance to interact with James, he is incredibly friendly and knowledgeable, and he dives into the themes of each of the projects that get kickstarted. So he is a wonderful concierge. He will get you what you need.
Yep.
I suspect. Oh,
God.
sorry, you go ahead, Dixie.
My favorite James persona so far was the Exalted one. I just gotta say, like he got super anime as soon as it funded for us,
Yes.
and he had like a giant diclave, and it was one of the more over the top ones I've seen him do, and I was very into it.
Did he go Super Saiyan after it funded too? I think.
Maybe, I don't know. There was a lot happening there.
That's true. That's true.
So okay.
Let's see. What else can we talk about? These panels are always a little awkward, because obviously we would love to tell you a lot of things, but there's always that balance of certain things we can't say for contractual reasons,
Mhm.
or B, we don't have firm things yet, and we don't want to say, oh, we're going to do X, and then turns out we're doing Y.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, we'll put out a catalog that had a product listed in it that was coming,
Mhm.
and we are, and I'm just saying that in general. I'm not saying any specific one,
Mhm.
because we still get questions from people now with us about, are you going to go back and do that one? And it's like, nobody even knows what it was in it. Like it was a listing. It didn't exist. It wasn't it might have been a pitch, or it might have been the developer went, yeah, and also we'll probably do this one. And they said, well, good, that fills up the catalog. Good, let's put that in there. So it's we at Onyx Path have tried to pull back from that a little bit so that we're not setting up that sort of false expectation. Because
Mhm.
there's some things that we know we have to get to a certain stage before we can announce them.
Right.
I'll say something. Tell all of you folks. I'll tell you something, brother. And that
Cool.
is, let me tell you something, brother Jack. It is that I've not done a wrestler impersonation for far
For a
too long.
while.
As Dixie brings it out in me, that's the thing.
Oh, great, thanks.
Yeah, I keep it to
It's
myself.
totally your fault.
That's,
Yeah,
that's
but
what
Not
I
anybody
want.
else.
That's
I
what I
know
want in my
Dixie
life.
appreciates them on some level. I don't know where that level is,
Some level.
Do I?
but anyway, I will tell you something, and it's about the RPG anthology. They came from the RPG anthology because, as people may be aware or may not be aware, backers have been able to vote on additional content
And
for
they have
this
voted
book.
incorrectly all but one time so far.
They voted marvelously. It's
There's
been
some
democracy
heated
in action.
races, certainly.
Yes, and so each week we've been putting up options for new chapters to add to this book. It already contains 5 different genres. By the end of the campaign, as I mentioned earlier, it will have an additional 4 at least. And so far, voted in, we've had They Came From the Billiard Room with the Candlestick, which is Murder Mysteries.
Which I did vote for.
We have had They Came From Beneath Capes and Cowls, which is 1960s Silver Age comic book superhero fun.
Did you
Pow
just
Biff.
X card the superheroes?
No, I pitched Neo Tokyo, and
You
then it didn't go through, and I'm sad. That's all.
Don't
There was a
be
close run
sad.
thing, and then the third one, the one was They Came From the Meticulously Planned Bank Job, which is Ocean's 11, Reservoir Dogs, Lock,
Heist
Stock,
films.
Gangsters, Heists, that kind of thing. Now, there will be a fourth one, and I asked on the Kickstarter for people to nominate whether we put another set of genres up or whether we do a list of runners up
Right.
and for a runoff, and more people voted for the runoff. So we will be doing a
They want
list
their
of
second
all of
chance
the
of their
runners up.
favorite.
Exactly, and I think that's perfectly normal. We've had some people comment that they now despise the Kickstarter because their choice wasn't
Really?
among
They
the winners.
do
I
so
know that was you,
much.
Dixie.
Well, no, I'm gonna
Uh,
be more upset that we're not gonna do the last vote because the last vote had a genre in it that I was very excited for. So,
But
thanks.
if we get enough funding, we will add a 5th chapter. But
Yeah.
that is highly predicated on funding, so we can't promise anything at all. But one thing we would be doing for sure on Monday is we'll be launching a vote of all the runners up, not just the second places. So this is the time to
Oh.
vote for Dawkins Creek. This is the genre you all really want to see, I know, because we've got a whole load of cinematics queued up that tie into Coldplay, Snow Patrol, Hoobastank, and Daniel Powter. We want to really
Are you
have
selling
the
it
nice...
really?
Yeah, we want to have the beanie-wearing white guy playing an acoustic guitar, ideally, as a cinematic.
Matthew,
yeah.
please never ever say the word hoobastank ever again. Ever again.
I mentioned before that's if you put all of the pillars from Mummy the Curse together, they spell out Hoobastank. Now, the thing is, and the thing that we've really been pushing for,
Somebody
and
out
we've
there confirm that. Do it.
that we've really wanted is backer feedback. We mentioned it with The World Below. We mentioned it with our reviews. It's the same for the RPG anthology. These genres, so many of them that have been added to these polls have been because of you folks actually saying in the comments that you want to see these things. And so, for instance, the Code of Bushido, that wasn't on our radar until people started suggesting samurai features, and we thought, is it possible? Is it so different from Westerns? And then I thought, oh, hang on, here's a way you can make it work differently. And that one didn't come in first, but it will be in the runners-up. And so, yeah, we will see that again in the runoff, along with a lot of other genres. So if you haven't backed They Came From the RPG
Start voting
anthology
on Monday
already,
if you're a backer.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. If you're a backer, you get in and you vote for the genre you want to see added to this book. And by the end of it, we'll have at least 9 different genre chapters, each with at least 5 archetypes, each with 5 tropes per archetype. each with new cinematics and so on. And I'm going to harp on about it because I'm very excited about this book, and it's the first of its kind for They Came From. So get involved.
Yeah, like for what it's worth, I'm not actually like mad about any genres being left out. I mostly just wish that we could have 30 genres in this book. Like,
Oh, right.
you know, I think that every time somebody comes up with a new genre of film or entertainment in general, it's like, yeah, we could do that. Let's do that. I want to do that now.
So
It's too fun.
It's
I'd like
something
to see us get more
interesting.
experimental, but people have, a lot of what works for this, right, is like the original pitch was Matthew and I both enjoy the 1950s bad monster films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of their descendants, like 1960s Doctor Who.
Yes.
So that's just the thing we realize. So when people see that thing, we'd like to see some more experimental things, just because we know we could stretch how it plays,
Right.
and it would be really funky. To do the musical, the version of this where you're given a cue in your quip is actually song lyric or something.
Well, that's the interesting thing, because we considered things like musical, silent cinema,
Mhm.
and the reason they didn't end up in the polls was because they are not genres that throw out 5 unique archetypes. They are rule sets that you can apply to existing genres. So this may be
I
something.
think the Hollywood musicals, I could give you 5.
I could easily give you 5 archetypes for that.
Well, these are things that, in my view, you can apply to the existing genres of They Came From. So you can have a sci-fi musical, a horror musical, a noir musical, and so on, rather than something being purely, this is a musical with no
yeah.
genre.
Alto, soprano, tenor,
Yeah.
bass, and basso contralto.
And it was an
Forgot
interesting
baritones existed.
an interesting thing to confront when developing this They Came From, because I was looking at a whole slew of possibilities and realizing, okay, well, these have to be able to support their own weight. And if we have themes, or I guess mediums, that can be applied, is that another book down the line? Maybe, we don't know yet. But is there some way we can introduce things that essentially alter existing genres? So that's why they're not there in the RPG anthology.
And
This
not
isn't an
because you're a
announcement.
big poopy head.
No, it
Is that what
isn't
you're
because I'm a
saying?
big poopy head, poopy pantsing all over this poopy project. So yeah, if you haven't seen What You Like, that may well be why. Me in game design mode, I'm looking at it and thinking, is this a game, or is it a sub rule set, if you see what I mean?
Right.
So yes. So do we have any other questions that have been submitted? Well, I've deliberately been rattling.
There's been one very important question in the chat, which is who's your favorite in-house developer and why is it D?
I was skipping that one, but okay.
Well, I was
Well,
going to say that one of the things that people should be aware of is that for about 40 years, these 3 people have been doing the Onyx Pathcast podcast for their own enjoyment and amusement, as far as I could tell. It's very lightly connected, often to our stuff, and they're just very, very difficult people to deal with. But they recently brought on this amazing 4th person, Danielle Lazan, who we often just call D, and I think she's really turned the whole thing around. It's
You're
so
aware
much
that
fun.
I'm a person who has depression, right? Like, I live with depression. I
Oh,
don't
you,
like this.
you, the other 2 of you already know. I'm only saying this against Matthew.
I didn't. Honestly, I didn't even know Danielle existed until she appeared on the Onyx Pathcast one day, and then I thought, wow, look at all these credits Danielle's got. She must be a really quiet, under the radar developer who never ever raises issues or suggestions or has creative impulses.
Because the one thing
like that.
when you think Danielle's on, you think meek and unopinionated.
Yeah,
I think Meek is a good.
And so yeah, it's been a revelation in the last few months.
Also, I mean, the other reason I wasn't bringing that question up is because Eddie insulted me in chat. He said that D was his favorite working on Exalted. Like, I didn't work on Exalted Essence. Or
No,
Sidereals.
currently working on Exalted.
I currently work on Exalted. I'm editing Sidereals right now.
Okay,
I
fine.
think- yeah.
You're one of two of my favorites in-house developers currently working on a couple.
Yeah, I may have to get in on this exalted racket.
No, you'll never reach these exalted levels, Matthew.
Now, I think the most important question that was asked was that Rich Teets talked about his bougie caviar.
All my caviar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a whole caviar story.
Um,
D wants to hear about your bougie caviar.
I'm guessing your lawyers have advised you against it
so
after the
I will tell you
incident.
that for the amusement of the in-staff people, I will actually have a photograph about that at Monday's meeting.
Oh, so
Wonderful.
look forward. That's the real announcement of Onyx PathCon. Is Rich's Monday meeting log.
So just so people don't get the wrong impression, my daughter for Father's Day sent me a little tin of caviar to celebrate that, she somehow enjoyed being my daughter, or it still does. And and so I mentioned that I would be, really interested in eating my caviar on the Onyx Path yacht as we sail through Europe. And Dee really likes that idea.
Yeah. I mean, you don't eat it on a cracker like most people. You eat it directly off of freelancers. It's. I think honestly, I think it affects the taste.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, because we're all so
But it-
fucking salty.
Yeah.
yes, that's it.
very
It's
good.
triple the salt of the
Um,
normal caviar.
But
Well played,
yes,
well played.
It's your yacht, your caviar, and yeah, you do with it what you will. Face pack, if you like.
And on that note,
Well, I mean,
As-
yeah, we've talked about a lot of stuff this panel. Like we've announced
We
a
did.
bunch of things. We've shown you little teasers. You know.
Like you do.
Yeah, do we have any other questions? I've seen occasionally question pop up, but if it's all been of things about deadlines or anything like that,
yeah, a fair amount of there's been a fair thread of like, hey, when's the Kickstarter happening? And Daniel actually did post in the chat, maybe we don't give those kinds of deadlines.
Yeah.
Someone did say that Dixie won the panel, so that's official. That's now canon.
Yes.
all right.
I didn't know something you could win, but Dixie has won it. So congratulations to Dixie for winning this panel. Your prize is in the mail.
No, it's not.
It's a no prize.
Don't
I
lie
can't
to
afford
me.
I can't afford the shipping. I really can't. I'm sorry.
My prize is whatever junk mail I get in the next couple days. Thanks.
This is from Eddie.
I'll send you one of my Transformers magazines.
Definitely support the Banana Group, though. Do your donations. That is in the chat right now. I got a little donate link. Definitely come to the Branch Riders panel if you want to see just some of the most fun and excitable people that we work with. I truly enjoy being on panels with Jack and Doug and yourself, Rich. It's pretty much going to be the same panel almost that we had at Save Against Fear, only this one will be online for people to watch.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Maybe we'll have a Safe Against Fear again this year. Don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So people are asking lots of questions at the end here that we are not getting to because we're at the end of the panel now.
Quick, go through rapid fire.
No, I'm not
no.
answering any of these questions. They are not on topic.
I think
But
we
yeah.
move to the how to find us section.
Yeah. So you can start that off then, Eddie.
Sure, I'm here. So you can find my
It's all
stuff
under us too.
It's all under us too, yes. You can find my stuff at pugsteady.com. You can also find me on pugsteady at dice.camp. You see it below. I'm also on Twitter, I guess. But the main place you can find me really is the Onyx Path Discord, where not only do I hang out in the various game lines that I have oversight over, but also I will get into long rambling discussions in off topic about things like Transformers. So
Such
It's
a
true.
surprise.
come find me there. Matthew.
I didn't do this at the end of the They Came From panel, despite the fact I was the host, so I'm sorry to my co-panelists. But I guess them's the breaks. But you can find me on MatthewDawkins.com, on the Onyx Path Discord, on Twitter at DawkinsMP, and yeah, do post in the World Below channel on our Discord, especially when the Ashcan comes out. I want to hear your thoughts.
Dixie, do you want to
Oh,
go?
yeah,
Yeah, I
sorry.
do.
It's,
I'm sorry.
It's,
I was-
the relay, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dixie, go for it.
I was having to cut off Danielle in the chat trying to say you should direct message us your questions on Discord. Do not do that. Don't do that. I will block you. You can find me everywhere at Dixie Cyanide. I'm always in the Discord, but once again, don't PM me, no matter what D says. D's causing trouble today. You're a
Just gone
troublemaker.
berserk.
I may have to withdraw one half of my favorite Exalted Developer comment.
I'm gonna go into D's panel later and cause shit.
Nope, Dixie, you now have all of the Exalted Developer love. Congratulations.
Yes. And Rich, where people find you?
Right now, my favorite place to be found is in the comments section of the Monday Meeting Notes blog. We've been having some fantastic discussions about what people like and don't like in horror and urban fantasy gaming. Just as a thing that we're got
fun
into
exercise.
this thread
Yeah.
of conversation based on some stuff that was in some of our other social media, but it has been ongoing, and we've had some great back and forths, and love to hear from other people. As Matthew said, that's another place you can talk about anything we're doing, including the upcoming Ashcan when it hits.
Yeah.
Every Monday, more or less.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you off and on throughout the weekend. The rest of us will be around.
Yeah, you stay at me and Matthew in about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and a couple
Thank you,
hours.
everybody, for tuning in.
Bye, folks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.